I'm trying to avoid the cliches and the hood rats. I'm trying to avoid the goons, cause they could blast. And you ain't got the answers, but I still ask. Cause all I do is question when the news flash. Channel 6 is 7, 8 of my niggas gone. 9 times out of 10, 11-year-olds say eulogies perform. This a song to my city, mentally absorbed. Diamond in the rough between the Boston and New York. I know it's hard for you to say it. The ghetto's a mosaic. When radio hears soul, it's hard.
What's going on? This is Cuurve Radio on WTBU, Boston University Radio. I'm Davi, sitting here with Jon Hope.
What up, what up?
How you doing, man?
Man, I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for being here, man.
Thank you.
I don't want to, first of all, I don't want to shortchange you, you know what I'm saying? Rapper,
Yeah.
actor,
Yeah.
author,
Oh, man.
got his masters.
Come on, man.
How do you utilize all these experiences within your music?
Man, that's a really good question. Man, I kind of just, you know, whatever the music is telling me, whatever the music is telling me to write, I draw from. I try to draw from as close to my experiences as possible.
Right.
And I've lived a lot of life, man. You know what I'm saying? Had a lot of different experiences, and it just pours onto the notepad. And you know, so far it's helped me. You know, it's been fruitful, man. You know what I'm saying? I
know you know, a couple years back, you go on this crazy dope wave. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got the Work in Progress. You know, the project.
Yeah.
106 in Park. Little tour with Nas.
Yeah.
And then you take a break and you know go get your masters.
Yeah.
What led you back to school?
Man, to be honest, man, I mean, this is Cuurve Radio. We're gonna keep it 100.
Let's keep
you know
it
what
100.
I'm saying? Man, I mean, to be honest, I fell into really deep depression, man. You know, I just, you know, I did not want to do anything. I was, I just was at my lowest point, and so part of trying to get out of that funk and kind of like rehabilitate yourself is you know, you got to do a lot of bucket filling, they call it. Bucket filling, where, you know, you got to build your confidence up. Little things, you know, whether it's going to the gym or whatever. And so prior to that experience, I was so fixated on thinking that I can control things, you know what I'm saying? And so that point really taught me that, you know, I can't control everything. I'm not, God is in control, you know what I'm saying? So, one of the things, like I said, to try to rebuild yourself is to try to get into things that you can control, where you can control the outcome. And school is actually one of the biggest ways. To be honest, man, I'm not the biggest fan of school, you know what I'm saying? But I knew that I could, if I study, I will get an A. Like, you know, you can control the outcome. And so I needed that to kind of build myself back up. And so that's what I did, man. That's the honest thing. It wasn't about, you know, I wanted to, you know, learn what the, you know, molecular, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't anything that, it was just more or less like I wanted to control the outcome to be able to, you know, better myself, man.
And you talked about your past, you know, battling depression. Explain the tattoo you got.
Yeah, wow, life is good, man. So this right here is, you know, we all hear the term life is good, you know what I'm saying? But the specific inspiration was Nas's album, Life is Good, where, you know, at the time, we were kind of going through the same thing. You know, he was going through divorce with Khalees, financial woes, he was broke, this, that, and the third. And that album really, you know, he poured it all out. You know, for him to go through all that and say life is good, I was like, yo, bro, life is good. This is wild. And so I really, you know, you hear the phrase, this album changed my life. You know what I'm saying? This album really did, obviously, to the point where I would, you know, tattoo it on my arm. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I don't have a lot of tattoos. Like, you know, this is my only one. Exactly. And so, you know, this really means a lot to me, and to the point where, you know, when I was trying to get back out of my funk, I mean, like, I would literally say it. Like, I would be like, you'd be like, you see me, like, yo, what up, Hope? Life is good, man. You know what I mean?
Just out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere,
just
man.
Mad silent.
Yeah.
Life is good.
Life is good. What you doing tonight? Life is good, man. You know what I mean? You see them, Hope? Life is good. You know what I mean? Like, it was just everything that I was saying, I would literally say,
when
life is good.
You're trying to, like, escape a, you know, answer, you know, a question.
Life is good, bro. Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
That's
so,
dope.
So, you know, that's where this tattoo comes from, man.
That's
you know
dope.
what I mean?
And then kind of, you know, that tattoo and, like, the meaning of the album, you know, in conjunction with touring with Nas.
Yeah,
must have been
yeah.
You know.
It was like kind of surreal, like how
Yeah.
that, that thread, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's my favorite artist, and I really resonate with the way he expresses himself.
Right.
You know what I mean? He really draws from a personal place, and I think that's the best way to
Yeah.
create art because truth is ageless, truth is colorless,
Right.
truth is, that's why he's, still,
Where
doing
yeah.
Sprite commercials with Drake, you
Yeah,
know what I'm
still
saying?
got the
Like,
Henny,
he still got,
what I'm
like, you
saying?
know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he's not on some, old school type, you know what I
Right.
mean? He's still just as relevant
Yeah.
because he speaks his truth. And I think that's what helps with myself, is that, I'm just speaking my truth. I'm not trying to whip and nay.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to do anything outside of my,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I'm just giving you my truth, man.
Right.
So, it's cool, man.
And that's definitely seen, within your new project, A Guy Named Hair.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into that later.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
let's talk about the Masters.
Yeah, let's
Masters
talk about it,
in,
man.
educational
leadership, yeah, and administration, yeah.
And you got your undergrad in urban sociology.
Yeah, yep.
How did school kind of, I know you said you went for, kind of confidence and boosting yourself up, self-esteem, but how did it change your way of thinking?
Oh man, it changed my way of thinking tremendously because like, a lot of times when we talk about race or when
Right.
we talk about a lot of society's ills, we kind of want low-hanging fruit. You know what I'm saying? We talk about the sexy shit, whether it's someone calling you the N-word or, Paula Dean or like a Ku Klux Klan member.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We want that sexy, that right in your face. But like what my master's degree showed me was like the structural and institutionalized racism that we don't see.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like that kind of stuff, like that's the stuff that I was more fixated on. You know what I'm saying? And school really helped me identify that, and it made me realize like, yo, there's a lot of things going on that the average person doesn't really know.
Exactly.
And so if I could it's like, okay, now that I know this, how can I incorporate it in my music and try to make it jamming without trying to be preachy? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm, at the end of the day, like, I am an artist. I'm not a conscious artist. I'm not a street artist. I'm not a gangster artist. It's just that these are the things that I choose to talk about.
Right.
So, for me, it just made me see things that the average person probably couldn't see.
Right.
You know what I'm
and,
saying?
Incorporate it to your music.
Yeah.
And then kind of push it out as
And
well.
push it out there.
But
yeah.
not only within your music, but I know you're writing some books right now too.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So right now I'm working on 2 projects. One is called 100 Miles an Hour in a Parked Car. And really, it's kind of just like a coffee table book, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A real quick read. It's a lyric book. It's a diary. It's incomplete thoughts. It's just all. It's just like my mind, man.
Right, exactly.
All
In a
centralized in a book. Right now, we're in a crazy time, man. You know what I'm saying? We're in the era of tweets, Facebook status, posts, and updates and stuff like that. And I wanted to find a way to kind of centralize that and just have another way that my fans can connect with me. You know what I'm saying?
Experience.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, that's that. And then I got the memoir, which is called How I Landed in France. And that's very much almost autobiographical, you know what I'm saying? Just talking about my life and just talking about how I've evolved, or I'm trying to evolve as we speak, from someone that, really was on some, just kind of had a very like limited mentality, very like hood mentality, to literally and figuratively landing in France, like seeing the world, trying to, open myself up to new things, eat different food and, and things of that nature. Whereas before, man, I was just very confined, physically and mentally, you know what I'm saying?
Is there a book you're kind of enjoying, working on more than the other?
To be honest, I mean, How I Landed in France is way more in depth, way more detailed. So I'm really pulling from a lot. Whereas, how 100 miles, it's really, just more or less an extension, just something that people can gravitate towards, you know what I'm saying? But, How I Landed in France, that's definitely something that, anything I do, I want to do it well. Who knows? It could be a bestseller, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, that's what I'm aspiring for.
What are the differences, between working on a book and working on an album?
Oh man, it's working on a book. It was a little bit more difficult because I'm not pulling from harmonies or chords and things of that nature.
To kind of it support it in the background.
Right, you know what I'm saying. So with writing, you really just kind of have to dig deep, and then there's a lot of trying to make sure that your point is driven home. You know what I mean? Whereas with music, it's a little bit more selfish. Whereas I'm making music for me. Okay. So how people interpret it, it's I don't really care for that. This is more therapeutic. With the book, I'm really trying to articulate something, and I'm hoping that you get what I'm trying to articulate. Right. You know what I'm saying? So there's some challenges, but it's cool, man.
So like the marketing strategy is also kind of different.
Oh, way different. Yeah, way different. You know what I mean? I'm not. I'm not gonna be, freestyling. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Course,
and dropping bars.
Sway.
Yeah.
On sway.
On sway. You know what I'm saying?
Promoting
my book. You know what I'm saying? With the book, definitely there's different avenues, but once again, that's another way. You look at it like 50. You know what I'm saying? Some people might like 50 the actor on Power.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Some people might like In the Club. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's just different ways that people can gravitate towards me. I just really feel like in this day and age, to be just one thing, especially starting out, man, it's really difficult, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, and I'm good in, I can write, I can talk and stuff like that. So it's not a fluke. I'm not kind of just doing it just to say I'm doing it.
Right. You got to diversify talents and whatnot.
Exactly, man.
Dope. But let's talk about, marketing. Things are going very well as far as promotion. And,
man.
And it's kind of coming to you as well. I know you kind of took like a different approach this time.
Yeah.
Kind of letting them, not chasing blogs, whatnot.
Nah, not at all. Not at all. Just letting the people talk. You know what I'm saying? Like I really don't care about blog posts and trying to get on Two Dope Boys, because I mean, not to flex, I did all that. Yeah. Like I've been on every blog that you can think of, probably with the exception of like a Rap Radar. That's like the, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the one right there.
And this time around, as far as marketing between, your album now and your work in the past, you're kind of letting, the people spread the music as far as chasing blog posts and whatnot. Talk about that, you know what I'm saying? Your new strategy, if you want to say, if you want to call it that.
Right. It's more. It's like the strategy is no strategy. It's like, you know what I mean. It's like I really wanted to make sure it was organic. I don't necessarily want to chase fans. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason why you decided to follow me, and so I appreciate that. And here's how I'm gonna keep you engaged. As I'm not gonna, I feel like nowadays, digitally, what we're doing, a lot of people, and myself included at times, you know what I'm saying, where the people standing at the corner of a highway saying, please listen to my music, you know what I'm saying, digitally, like, you know what I mean? Definitely. Like, and I feel like I ain't trying to do that, you know what I'm saying? It's like there's a reason why you are down with Jon Hope, and, however you were able to, hear my music or connect with me is dope, and I'm appreciative of that. But I'm not chasing blog posts. I'm not chasing DJs and things of that nature. I really want to cultivate a fan base, because they keep me going. You know what I mean? It's not necessary. The DJs and the blog posts, they kind of almost have to stay current with the trends. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Today, Jon Hope is popping. Tomorrow, I might not be, but my fans are always they're gonna stick with me. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I want, man. And I got genuine fans, man. Not like people that say, yo, man, you helped me get through a particular moment, or I listened to you before an exam. I mean, all walks of life, and you can't buy that, man. And like that's dope, man. You know what I'm saying? It's really its own community, man.
Right. And that, those people, your fans, really doing a great job too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
You know, you on Sway doing freestyles with Sway.
Come on, man.
Sway in the morning. How was
Yeah.
that?
Man.
Talk about that experience.
Thus far, the best moment of my short career. A lot of people they seek validation in different ways, whether it's the double XL cover, whether it's a Grammy, whether it's whatever it is. For me, I try not to seek validation, but like that right there,
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is, I mean, you could say he's hip hop's Ryan Seacrest.
Right.
He's the Pulse. I mean, like he Biggie, Tupac, Kanye,
Yeah.
Jay-Z, Nas, President Barack Obama, Jon Hope.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm
No,
in
of
that,
course,
bro.
that's dope.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm in that.
Yeah.
I'm in that, dog.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in that. And, a lot of backstory, too. What's so funny is, like, what you don't see is, like, when we were in the waiting room, man,
Yeah.
me and my guy, we chilling, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna front, I'm hella nervous. It's Sway.
Of
Like,
course.
it's Sway. This guy, not only is he someone that is, he's a purveyor of the culture, like, he is it's him. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
exactly.
So, I didn't know what to expect. He comes out, man, and he's like, yo, Jon Hope, man, love what you doing.
Yeah. Just
Man, off the bat, yo,
yeah.
that me, I swear to God, I'm 6'2", 225,
Yeah.
shaking. Like, oh yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, this dude, like, you know what I mean? That's cause I know that he respects the music, he respects the craft. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not just a check for this guy, you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Like, this dude is that dude, man, you know what I mean? And he's like, yo, I like what you doing, you know what I'm saying? And I can say this now, man, I felt like in that video, it looked like he had an affinity for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was really
of the conversation you guys had.
yeah, he was rocking with me, you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Yeah,
Like,
nah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, shout out to the other motherfuckers that's on there, but yo, he was rocking with me, man,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But like, that's definitely a feather in the cap, and if there's any times in this, hard journey that I, contemplate either giving up or, I'm like, damn, I don't know, I go back to that. I'm like, yo, man, you a kid from Providence, dog, and you were there. Like, like, in the very least, that means you're headed in the right direction. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way I look at it,
That's dope. And let's talk about the music.
Yeah.
You had the project. A guy named Harry just come out.
Talk about it.
Dope love. A lot of love on the internet.
Yeah.
A lot of love, within your fans and whatnot.
Yeah.
Talk about how this album was different from the later albums and later projects.
Man, it was brutally honest, like brutally honest music. Whereas a lot of the other material, work in progress, which is like I love that. That's my baby. I think prior to A Guy Named Harry, a lot of the music was very upbeat.
Yeah.
It was very optimistic. You know what I'm saying? A lot of my videos, I'm smiling. You know what I mean? I was just I was very much, in a very positive place. A Guy Named Harry. I mean, it was me, being extremely vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? Being in a dark place, and a lot of people may look at it like, man, being so vulnerable and being so dark, might be a sign of weakness, but I think it's a sign of strength. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I looked, and I refer to some of my favorite music at the time. Sam Smith. Of course, Nas' Life is Good. Sarah Bareilles with Blessed Unrest. It all came from a dark place, personal loss and things of that nature. Like, it was very honest music, and that's what I drew from with those artists. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And the songwriting was much better. Like I really approached. I think this project really showcased my talent as an artist, as a songwriter. And the other projects were me more so rooted in me being an MC, spitting and what I'm saying, bars and how witty I could be and stuff like that. That still existed in this, but I think for the most part it was about the strong structure, the arrangement, and then just the originality of it, man. I was so proud of the fact that we can, this music was definitely personal and very layered in that it was a lot of, references of where I come from, Providence, you know what I'm saying? But yet still the world embraced it. A lot of people
Right, exactly.
embraced it, you know what I'm saying? So it was very much original.
Yeah.
But like the fact that, I really wanted to create a sound and a pulse for Rhode Island. We're in this, much as New England, we're in this, because we don't have like this identity, we pull from, Chicago drill music or West Coast and things of that nature. You see a lot of artists up and coming that will mimic that, and I get it because you think that's what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? With me, I was like, nah, man, I'm going to talk about Camp Street and Comstock. I'm going to talk about Coffee Milk. I'm going to talk about, and make it jamming. We use Beyonce harmonies. That's why it's jamming. My cookie tastes better with coffee milk. We use dream harmonies or dream melodies, in the intro. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that people don't get, but, there's a way to make something dope without trying to conform.
Right, exactly. And, Harry being your actual,
my government.
Your government name.
Yeah.
The people, related to it a lot and whatnot. But I can only imagine how therapeutic it was for you to write that.
Man, it was so therapeutic because once again, man, it was brutally honest.
Right,
it was
exactly.
very personal. And granted I tried different ways to, express myself and get over the funk. There was nothing like returning back to music, you know what I'm saying, and be able to express what I was going through and things of that nature. And man, the fact that something so personal can be so well received from people that have no vested interest in me outside of music is gratifying, man. It's dope, you know what I'm saying?
That's dope. And some of my favorite tracks, Camp Street and Comstock.
My man.
Fish.
Yeah.
What and I know you shot visuals for both of them.
Yeah.
Talk about, if you have a favorite, which music video and kind of the difference between the two songs as well.
Man, I would have to say Camp Street and Comstock. I mean, like, that was the first single, and there was a lot of resistance, coming out with that single because it doesn't sound, right now the current aesthetic is, you know what I'm saying, turn up, which is dope. I get it, you know what I mean? Like I'm with it, you know what I'm saying? I dig it. I fuck with it all day, you know what I'm saying? But, I didn't want to chase that, you know what I'm saying? I really wanted to be original, you know what I'm saying? I really wanted to make something that sounded like nothing. And so, like, the record is produced by a Grammy Award-winning producer, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, yo, man, you gonna rap. So I was like, all right. So we made this record, and, people didn't want me to call it Camp Street and Comstock. People didn't want me to put this out as the first single. They're like, yo, man, not everyone's gonna get it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This, that, and the third. It's too local. It's this, that, and the whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, man, I gotta, if it's making people uncomfortable like that, that means I got something.
Probably a good thing.
It's probably a good thing, you know what I'm saying? Because I could easily, Gambling Man,
Yeah.
it kind of has that aesthetic, which is dope, you know what I'm saying? But like, I was like, yo, man, let me put this out. In the video, nobody's ever made a song that encapsulated Providence like that.
Right.
You know
exactly.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yeah, and I could say that with, like, that's not flexion, that's just real talk.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's ever done that and be proud. There's people that have tried, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But, it's kind of corny, you know what I mean? It ain't jamming, you know what I'm saying? I'm keeping 100. But, like, the fact that, this is dope, and it still has that aesthetic, you know what I'm saying? I'm proud. I'm proud, like, because, when my number's called, man, that's gonna live forever.
Yeah.
That's there.
Because from the title itself to two streets in Providence.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about like the music video. I love how
Yeah.
in the beginning of the music video, you really show the people of the city.
Yeah.
And then you go around like next verse, you show a lot of the city itself.
Yeah.
So it's very Providence, from the music to the visuals to the title.
And what people don't, what you will maybe appreciate now that I'm about to tell you, a lot of those images, they're very they're monumental. They don't exist anymore. They were taken down. Like, so I'm rapping the third verse. I'm rapping in a pool.
Yeah.
It's called Davi Lowe's Pool on the south side. That's not there. You know what I'm saying? Kennedy Plaza, what you saw, the bus, that's been revamped.
Oh, really?
So it's a lot of that's what makes it even much more like special.
Right.
You know what I'm
it
saying?
tells like the story.
It tells
you know
a
what I'm saying?
story,
The
yeah.
of the
It
city
tells a
itself.
story, yeah. Because that
That's what's
stuff
dope.
doesn't exist anymore. Like, so
Yeah.
we actually captured that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's
Shout outs
dope.
to Kobe. You know what I mean?
As we progress into the project too, we hit Howie D interlude.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about that and kind of talk about its symbolism too, because I feel like the project kind of switches, like tone and vibe as well after we hit that.
Yeah,
So-
my man, you do your Googles,
Hey,
man.
bro.
You do your Googles, man.
You already know, man.
Yeah. Oh man, that was very much deliberate. The Howie D interlude, man, it's funny, man. Shout out to my guy Howie D.
Shout out to the Cape Verdean women.
Yeah, shout
as
out
well.
to the Cape Verdean women, man. No matter where I go, I think for a lot of Rhode Islanders, whenever you go out of town and someone asks where you're from, we get a lot of, is that Long Island? There's just, very few people, for some reason, they just don't know anything about Rhode Island,
Right.
where it's located and whatnot, you know what I mean? And, I wanted to keep the theme of, like, I really wanted to make this something that, as a Rhode Islander, you could stand behind,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
The same way, Drake with Toronto, Kendrick with Compton, you know what I'm saying? I really wanted something that was jamming, but, you could be proud of. And so the thing about that skit, man, really, it's just I just wanted to highlight what I naturally have to go through as a Rhode Islander,
Yeah.
answering questions and things of that nature, you know what I'm saying? But symbolically and sonically, you're right. That was very deliberate to change the tone.
Right, exactly.
It went a little bit more lighthearted, a
Yeah.
little bit more female
A lot
friendly.
looser.
A lot looser,
Yeah.
right, exactly. You know what I mean? Because, I didn't want to give you a whole project of just such dense
Right.
material, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You can't feed a baby steak, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I
like that, I like that.
Yeah, for real, man. So I really wanted to make sure it was, that the songs that fit that lighthearted mold
Right.
were all, sequenced next to each other.
Yeah.
you know
And
what
one of my, kind of favorite tracks, on the second half is Proceed.
Proceed, yeah.
So talk about that feature, because
Yeah,
you have a
yeah.
beautiful feature on that.
Yeah, shout outs to Winnell, man. Winnell Wilson, amazing vocalist. She's got so much history with me. We've done so many songs together. She's one of those individuals where, I don't care how big I get, and where she's at in life,
Right.
she's gonna be on
Yeah.
she's going to be on my project. It's
Yeah.
almost to the point where people expect that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because she's been in the industry,
Right.
and now she's kind of transitioning to other things. Like she started her own health.
Okay.
Food business
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So music is not a priority as much, but she always, I have that pass where she'll come
Right,
out,
exactly.
she come out and throw on the jersey
Yeah.
and get on the court with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that song, I love it. It's a record, that's just trying to talk about, we get it in, you know what I mean?
Trying to
Anywhere.
talk about what you trying to talk.
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trying to talk about what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those records, self-explanatory, man. I loved it. We executed it. And it's one of those things where it's another side that I don't think my fans saw me
Right,
in. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Like I said, a lot of the music was very, dense, and this was, kind of lighthearted, and, I wanted something that people, don't have to really think too much for.
Right,
you know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
And
Yeah.
and she's also from, Providence.
So from
as
Providence, from Providence.
Yeah.
Yep, she's from Providence. She actually worked alongside Lil Mo.
well. Okay.
And she did a lot of writing for some other artists as well. So she's a very talented musician.
Right.
That one of those people where when I'm in the studio with her, I look to her for advice because she hears things in a way that not everyone else can.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's dope. And
Yeah.
in all, just kind of a very cohesive project.
Yeah.
Very,
Thank you.
Rhode Island,
Yeah.
Providence.
Yeah.
And very good. Like, I love how, embodying the city itself.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
I feel like Providence is kind of going through the same thing Boston's.
Very
kinda,
much so.
A lot of
yeah.
people, coming up, and a lot of good music as well.
Yeah. We're all, between Boston and Providence. I mean, I feel like it's actually happening. So we've always been talking about, man, I can't wait for Boston. I can't wait for Providence to get recognized.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? We're always waiting for. I actually feel like for the first time in a long time, for the first time ever, it's actually happening. Where there's a crop of artists that can stake their claim on a national level. I got some of my favorite artists. Stiz.
Right,
He's
exactly.
killing
He's
it. Come on,
amazing,
I mean, what? I ain't never seen nothing like that. The buzz in terms of like the buzz that he's had. That he has. Being on Complex and things like. Shout outs, New Edition. Shout out all the other artists. But I mean, in terms of hip hop though, like Stiz, what he's doing, man. You know what I'm saying? I think is unmatched right now. You know what I'm saying? Avenue, it's my guy. That's my guy. I love what he's doing. I got Chandelier Views. Millie's is my dude. Millie's and Khalif.
Khalif is just like, it's just wild.
Listen, it's only a matter of time with him.
Yeah.
He's out of here. He's a star. He's a star.
Just kind of waiting on his project too.
Yeah.
Cause
he's official.
It's
he's
crazy.
Official,
He came out with, like Break the Internet.
Dope.
Like,
I rocks with him.
It's crazy.
Like, I rocks with him.
As far as energy as well, like crazy energy.
Yeah, he's the total package.
Exactly.
Like, if I was an A&R, I would sign him.
Yeah.
I would sign him, man. I would say that boy is out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and he's very strategic as far as how he like moves around.
Of
too,
course. Yeah,
which is dope.
Yeah, and I think that's actually why I gravitate towards it, because I'm very strategic. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I get that. But Khalif and I would say Khalif, Stiz, Av, and Millie's, you know what I'm saying? Are my favorite guys from out here. I like everybody though.
Right,
Dion
exactly.
Chase, my guy.
Yeah, we just had him up here.
Yeah, Dutch Rebel, you know what I'm saying? Of course, my term Rex, my show off family, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But, yeah, man. I mean, Khalif, I'm waiting. Shout out Khalif. What up? We just did a show not too long ago. It was in Boston at Lily Pad in Cambridge.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's my guy.
You did a couple shows.
Yeah.
Opened up for Waka Flocka.
Yeah, summer JHX, man.
Right,
you know
exactly.
What I'm saying? Yeah.
Any more dates, coming up or?
Yeah, so now we're just gonna transition into the fall, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So we're gonna get these college dates going, and I got a show. I'm trying to set up a show in Providence, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody's killing me for that. They're like, yo, you going all these places, but what's up with home? You know what I'm saying? Like a home show that's, strictly for me, you know what I'm saying? We're trying to work on that right now.
That's dope. That's dope. Kind of adding on to that experience.
JHX.
That Jon Hope experience.
Exactly, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's what it's all about, man.
And kind of like where can people find that experience? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's all on the website right now is a guy named Harry.com. That's where all the content is, but and we're gonna update that real soon. But on Twitter, IG, Facebook, and the thing about me is like you said, we're talking about strategic marketing. What you get on IG is not necessarily what you're gonna get on Twitter. So I think that's what keeps my fans engaged. You know what I'm saying? So it's dope, man, and that really lends itself to the experience. You know, because I mean that's what I'm trying to sell. Is an experience rather than here am I with my bars. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not just about that. Anymore.
And I know you got some merch too.
I got my merch, man.
I know you do some
merch.
some contests with your fans as
Yeah,
well.
all that, man.
Which is dope.
Yeah,
man.
my
It's
G.
dope.
He be doing his Googles, man. He be doing his Googles. Yeah.
But
I appreciate that.
first of all, I wanted to congratulate on everything.
Thank you, man.
From
Thank you.
The project
to
the experience itself, your shows, the books. Really looking forward to the books though. For real.
Yeah.
I feel like that's gonna be a dope something different as
Something
well.
different. Yeah. I'm really excited, man. I'm excited for what's to come, man. You know, my best song is the one I haven't written yet. You know, it's you know, I'm just excited for the next opportunity,
exactly.
man. You know what I mean?
That's
And this
dope.
is one of them, man. So I'm appreciative of.
And I thank you for coming out here, man. I
Cuurve
appreciate
Radio.
it.
Yeah.
Cuurve Radio.
Yeah,
Yo,
yeah.
but Davi here with Jon Hope.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jon Hope.
Thank you,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Yeah.
We signing out though. Cuurve Radio, WTBU, Boston University Radio.
Yeah.
Hi, have the table over there? Nah, just one. Memories, they got me thinking. I feel the repercussions from the way that I was treating you, but fucking all the others. Deep inside, I didn't mean it. Took for granted all the chances you gave me. Now I'm crying by my lonesome, saying da 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 da.